Okay, hi. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today is cryotherapy as well as our APC therapy devices, both of which are located here in our bronchoscopy suite. The whole idea of this is for you guys to know where these units are and have at least minimal knowledge of how to operate these things. So we'll talk about first about a cryotherapy device. So obviously, like any device, has to be connected to power, and of course has a gas source on the back of the unit. Very simple, and it opens up like any other oxygen tank. The key is attached to the unit. The cryotherapy device, it comes in with two basic probes. One is our large size probe, which is identified by a more darker blue color, kind of royal blue. It includes a cap. And our smaller probe is the same as that one, except that this one is more like a baby blue color. Those are the only two sizes, small and large. The first step, you guys need at least for a procedure, at least 2 containers with room temperature normal saline. Very important. So, and you'll start by connecting the device to power, following by grabbing the probe that physician decided to use. There is no normal. Times you guys are going to use the small, at times the large ones. It all depends. So this cap is secure properly. You remove lefty loosey, remove the cap, insert it into this container, which you will need at the end of the procedure, followed by inserting the probe into the device, and once again, righty-tighty. Screws on. Doesn't have to be hard, finger tight, and it is ready. Now, after the probe is inserted, I'm going to proceed to open the gas. Just like I said, like any oxygen tank, as you open up, you guys will see on the gauge that you have enough gas pressure. At this point, you are ready to turn on the device, which is the only button located on top of here. It should power up, and then you have that green light, which is indicating that it's ready to be used. We always want to test the device prior to initiating a procedure. So you proceed by having the pedal that comes with the unit. I'm going to step into the pedal. You guys will perhaps hear the sound of the gas flowing through. I'm going to insert this into the saline here. And slowly but surely, you guys can see now how this is freezing, and this is becoming extremely cold at this point. It is freezing cold right now. So I'm going to let go of the gas. This is getting really cold. Now, I'm going to proceed to put this in room temperature saline. This is going to slowly defrost that out. Now, one of the most common uses that we had for this device has been the removal of blood clots. It is used with our video system, utilizing a large size scope. This probe and the small one, of course, they go through the large size channel of the scope. Once it's inserted and everything, the way it works is doctor or the physician will actually do that part, going to the object, whether it's a foreign object or blood clots, and freeze it, remove it, put it in room temperature water, extract, and it'll repeat the same thing over and over, which is why it's important to have at least a couple containers with saline. After the procedure is over, proceed to place your probe back in the original container. Do not turn off the device right away, but rather close your gas source first. Once again, just like any oxygen tank, righty-tighty, and proceed to step on your gas pedal till you utilize all the gas that is left in the lines. You guys don't want to disconnect the line with the gas still pressurized over here, but rather you want to use it. So it takes a few steps, and this will drop down to 0. Once that is achieved, and you get all the way down to 0, at that point, once the light, amber yellowish light goes off, you can proceed to turn off the unit, remove your probe, once again, lefty-loosey. As soon as you do this, straight out, the first thing you want to do, you want to place the cap back in. The biggest enemy that this probe has is saline. Any little bit of moisture, water in this probe is done. They're about $5,000 a piece, so please be careful. Place them in the container, proceed to place back the cover, and we will take this downstairs to where we normally take our bronchoscopes. And that is the end of that presentation. Now we're going to talk a little bit about our APC unit, argon plasma coagulation. Now this device over here, just like the other device, it's going to be plugged into power, just like a 110 source, same thing. It comes also with the pedal. It's very simple. There's simple instructions located on top of the machine. It's pretty easy to utilize. Our 5 steps, the 5 P's, are pretty easy to follow. This unit consists of 2 basic probes. One are straight fire and our circumferential flexible probes. From just looking at them, they look about the same. These are for physician preference. Nothing for us to really choose as far as that. The physician will let you know which one they prefer. Now, extremely important is for us to have our patients grounded. This is the grounding pad, which should be attached on the patient, on the side of the patient, anywhere on the thigh, on the side. You don't want to do it on the upper portion of the body, as the patients have other probes attached. But it's extremely important that grounding pad will be plugged in over here, where today we have our testing probe. Without it, the unit will not function. Just as a demonstration. So I'm going to remove our testing probe. So the first, one of the first things that I'm going to do is our first P, which is our power, which is located on the left-hand side of the unit. It's very easy. Just push in. The machine is going to do a self-starting. Runs this program. Then the next P is our program. This is all preset from this screen. The only thing I'm going to do, I'm going to press down over here, and it's already pre-selected our forced APC bronch, or a pulse APC. Same thing, just like pretty much everything else, is going to be physician preference. Okay, we can go with the selected one or not. Let's say that I don't want force, I want pulse. Very simple. After that, I'm going to make sure that my pedal is installed and ready to go, which is that. There is there. The next thing I'm going to do connecting a probe. Doesn't really matter at this point which one we're using. Plug it in. Instrumental detection fault. So I guess our test unit is faulty for whatever reason. Sorry about that, but we have our backup. All right, there you go. And this is what is supposed to happen when you have a correct one. Now, before we continue, we're going to do our purging. It's another P. After this, the machine is ready to be used. As you can see, guys, this is the main screen over here on one of the selections. It is very simple to use. Everything is preset. We have the ability, upon physician's request, to increase or decrease settings. Like, as an example, I can change the wattage by just selecting next to it, and I can decrease or increase as directed by the physician. Once I make my selection, I can just return to my previous screen, and the machine is ready to be utilized. By default, the blue pedal, as you can see, is the one highlighted. That is the one that is ready to go. I'm going to step on that pedal, and you guys will see here how this operates. Now, prior to the actual usage on the patient, the physicians know this, but there's a couple things that we have to make sure. We have to make sure that our FiO2, it is all the way down to the lowest possible setting, 21% if at all possible. If not, just try to maintain the lowest possible FiO2. Due to the use of the argon gas, this is extremely flammable, which just brings us to the point number 2, is making sure that for this procedure, you guys always have iced saline ready, loaded in syringes, just in case if, since there's a hazard potential for a potential airway fire. So always make sure you have that ready and available. Now, if we're using APC, this is used in conjunction with our cryotherapy. Pretty much this can be utilized for tumor debulking. It's one of the most common things. Basically what it is, you burn, you freeze, you remove. This probe, just like the cryotherapy probe that you guys saw, it is used with a large size scope. It runs through the scope and it's utilized one after the other. You do burn a section of the tumor or airway section, whatever that is, followed by freezing and removing over and over and over. It's a pretty lengthy process, tedious work, but that's all there is. The idea is for you guys to have just minimal knowledge about it, know where it is, where it's stored, and how you have input minimal settings. Hopefully this was helpful, and that's all there is. Once you guys are done, it's pretty easy. Just turn off the unit, one button, boom, and remove this card. Thank you.